This is going to sound bad if you're a Georgia fan, but it's also the cold, harsh truth and reality of the situation you're in. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, hope I'll be having a great Monday. Hope I'll be having a great start to your week. If not, hope this video can make it a little bit better. Man, oh man, I went back and forth with myself multiple times throughout the day today. I thought about it Sunday night too. Should I or should I not make this video? Obviously, I came to the executive decision. I'm going to. When it comes to weird situations in college football, I don't think there's a weirder one and harder one to evaluate than the Georgia Bulldogs and Kirby Smart. You probably know what we're about to get into. Unfortunately, if you're a Georgia fan, you're not going to like this video, and you might as well click off right now. This is your warning and disclaimer. I got my cold hard facts ready to go. Do you know what Kirby Smart's winning percentage is against teams that aren't named Alabama? 89.2%. Let me say that again. 89.2%. That is elite. Anytime you're hovering around 90%, that's pretty dang good. Do you know what his winning percentage is against Alabama themselves? 12.5. 12.5. Not good. AKA 1-7. Kirby Smart has an atrocious record, not just against Nick Saban, but also Kalen DeBoer. He's 0-2 against DeBoer. So it is quite clear and evident he doesn't have a Nick Saban problem. That's what Georgia fans was telling me for years. Oh man, when Saban retires, Alabama's dominance over Georgia, it's over. I'm waiting to see it because it's not over. If anything, it's just getting started against a new head coach. You're 0-2. To me, it's obvious. You don't have a Nick Saban problem. You have an Alabama problem, whether you like it or not. You can admit it. You can deny it. It's reality at this point. I don't know how you could say otherwise. I'm not trying to be funny when I say this. Alabama owns Georgia. We can make this a 25-minute video, but if I keep things short, simple, and sweet, that's what I strive to do. Let's leave it at that, shall we? It doesn't matter what you chop it up to. Alabama owns them. I think most people point to the mental side of it. They're like, well, Georgia just can't get over the hump. And I think there's some truth to that. Well, I say there's some truth to it. No. That is a main reason. They know it. The players are like, oh, man, we're going to slip up. We're going to make a mistake. It's Alabama. They're scared of them. They are. Georgia under Kirby Smart, for some odd reason, has always been terrified of the Alabama Crimson Tide. You can see it with the way they play and with the play calling and coaching. The players are timid, the coaches are timid, and guess who else is timid? The fans! And why it is so frustrating if you're a Georgia Bulldog fan, they don't look like this against any other team out there. It's just Alabama. The psychological edge that Alabama has over the Bulldogs has got to be studied. It's something serious. But we already know that, right? And if you think this is a video, I'm just going to tell you how much Alabama owns Georgia. No, that's not the focal point of this, but it is key. We got to throw it in there. Here's what Kirby Smart had to say about his record against Alabama, and I quote, I mean, what's everybody else's record against them? You've got it? I don't have it either. I don't lose sleep over that because those games have been like championship caliber games, right? And even when we play in the regular season, they've been close. I just saw 25 scouts there. They're all there to watch these teams play. You know how it goes, yada, yada, yada. He said some more things, but it's coach talk and him making up excuses. I love Kirby Smart just as much as anybody else. Probably more so of Georgia fans. I've always had a soft spot for him. I've always liked to see him succeed because he was at Alabama. For those of you that don't recall, that wasn't too long ago. Love me some Kirby Smart. I call him the mini Nick Saban 2.0, but 1-7. Eventually, you just got to get up there at a press conference and say, you know what, these guys own us. I wish he'd take some accountability. He's not doing that. To get up here and deflect and say, oh, well, what's everybody else's record against them? That is the equivalent of getting pulled over by a cop and going, well, yeah, maybe I was going 20 over, but the guy in front of me was going 25 over. Take accountability. He has failed to do that. And one thing I have gone back and forth with myself so much past couple of days, even thinking about this, and it's why I was reluctant to make this video. I hate to say it about him because I respect him so much. I think he is a great head coach. But this Georgia football team, the 2025 team we're talking about right now, not against Alabama, but the team heading forward and how they looked against Tennessee, they are poorly coached. They're not very good. They're good. Don't get it twisted. Timothy and Bobby in the comment section. I can see you nerds running down there. Oh, this guy doesn't know ball. What are you talking about, Matt? Georgia's a good team. Yes, they are good, but they are not very good. Big difference. I saw the Georgia teams a couple years ago that won championships. Those defenses, they'd whack. No. You don't understand. They would not just wax they would wax and wipe the floor with this 2025 Georgia defense. Give all the credit in the world to the Alabama offense. Ryan Grubb, Kalen DeBoer, Ty Simpson, Jen Miller, Jeremy Bernard, Isaiah Horton. You can throw Ryan Williams in there even though he had the drop. Much respect to them. I'm not trying to slight them, throw a jab. Ty Simpson's one of the best quarterbacks in the nation. But a main reason they were 5 for 5 on third downs on the opening drive and 13 for 19 the entire game on third down conversions, because this Georgia defense is simply not that good. They're poorly coached. Alabama's got a great wide receiver core, but them boys were running wide open all night long. Nobody was near them. Let's throw it back a couple weeks ago. Did you see what happened up in Knoxville, Tennessee in Neyland Stadium? You should have lost that game. I'm going to divert back to this. Not my words. Your head coach after the game said Tennessee should have won. You should have lost. You gave up a 41 burger. The only reason you didn't lose is because Tennessee's kicker is booty juice. He sold the game for him, and another reason he didn't lose is because Gunnar Stockton shot to him. He's been really good this year. Had one of the best throws you're ever going to see on fourth down. He doesn't complete that, the game's over then and there. Thankfully, your offense came to play because your defense did not come to play in that one. Here's what's concerning. Yeah, you only gave up 24 the entire game against this Alabama offense, but you gave up all those 24 in the first half. Alabama, I'm not going to sit up here and say they took their foot off the gas, but they just did what they needed to do in the second half. They also shanked a field goal. They also ended the game with the ball where they was driving, so you can't sit up here and say, oh, well, we shut them down. There's 3 minutes to go. You had the 2-minute warning and 3 timeouts. You couldn't stop Alabama. The defense is not that good this year. I'd argue and say they're just about average, if not slightly above average. On a scale of 1 to 10, if I had to grade them, I'd give them a 5.5. So Alabama had 400 yards of total offense, which is pretty stout. Tennessee, they had 496. We'll round it up, 500. And Georgia not being able to get off the field on third down isn't an anomaly against Alabama. Tennessee was right at 50% conversion rate as well. You'll take that every day of the week. As far as it goes for offense, I think they're just fine. They're going to be A-okay moving forward. The defense is what I am not just a little bit, but super concerned about. I watched those legendary Georgia defenses. I remember liking them yesterday. And it is night and day difference compared to this one. These guys aren't as quick. They're not as big. They're not as strong. And to go on top of that, when they're not put in a good position to succeed, it's a recipe for failure. And you can sit up here all you want and say, well, Matt, Kirby Smart has 2 national championships. That is why I've been hesitant to make this video. You can't take that away from them. But let me throw this in there. That's why I call him Dabo the Dinosaur. Just because you got a couple championships from years ago, it doesn't mean you can just sit back, take your foot off the gas, and lollygag around as a head coach. No, you got to keep striving for greatness. You got to continue to go out there every single year and live up to the hype and expectations. I don't think Kirby Smart has done that this year. I'm not even going to consider even thinking about Kirby Smart and Dabo Swinney being in the same boat, because I think Kirby Smart is the light years ahead of Dabo currently. Dabo's the definition of washed up. What I'm saying is this Georgia team currently is poorly coached. Something has got to change on the defensive side of the ball. It's got to change fast. You can't afford too many more losses. You got Auburn, Ole Miss. Who else? Let's pull up their schedule, matter of fact. You got Kentucky coming up. Then you got Auburn. We all know that's a rival matchup. Should be a decent game. You got Ole Miss. By the way, you got to go to Auburn. You don't know what can happen in Jordan-Hare Stadium. There's witchcraft going on there. You got Ole Miss. We know that's going to be hard against the Lane Train. You got Florida. I'm not going to call that a gimme. You got Mississippi State. That ain't a gimme this year. Oh, then you got Texas, and end off the year, you got Georgia Tech. We saw it happen last year in that one. Although I have slightly praised the offense on Gunnar Stockton, I think rightfully so. He's been a decent surprise, a pleasant surprise, a better way of saying it. Georgia's offense isn't good enough to go out there and say, okay, it doesn't matter if we give up 40, we're going to score 45. No. They ain't that good on the offensive side of the ball. Despite me thinking this was a good team, I would not, this is the first time I've even thought this for at least 4 to 5 years, I wouldn't fear this Georgia ball club. I wouldn't. This is going to sound bad if you're a Georgia fan, but it's also the cold, harsh truth and reality of the situation you're in. This Alabama team isn't even really all too great in my opinion still. They're trying to figure out what their identity is. And the same team that got blasted by the Florida State Seminoles just walked into your home stadium like you was nothing and went out of there with a win. You had a 33-game home winning streak. Everything pointed towards, oh, yeah, you're going to win this game. You had all the advantages in the world, and you lost. This Alabama team walked into your house, slapped you around for all 4 quarters, and said, what are you going to do about it? You did nothing. Do you know, fun fact of the day, Georgia never led in that game. Not once. It's not like Alabama had some crazy come-behind victory like we've seen in recent years. No. They dominated you. That is what's concerning for this season. It's not concerning you lost Alabama again. That's going to happen every single year. We know it. It's like a free spot on the bingo card if Alabama's got Georgia on the schedule. You just put that down as a win. What's concerning is how you've looked in your last 2 games against Tennessee and Alabama. This team isn't looking all too hot, and they're very fortunate they don't have 2 losses. Hopefully they can turn it around. I'm curious. Let me know your thoughts down below. But